Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the 11th anniversary treasure map versus Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji for the 5+ of York the Greedy. And in today's video, we're going to be utilizing the new 11th anniversary characters, and some of the new characters have released over the last couple of months, but we will be excluding Zoro and Brook. Now, I'll talk about some great positions that you can put Zoro and Brook, and they're going to work out great if you did manage to summon for them. However, I do know a lot of people have skipped that banner because obviously the illustrious banners are the Super Sugos for the Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Kizaru, and then the anniversary exclusive Nami. So I have gone in with the assumption that you guys will not be pulling for them. I did pull them, so they will be in my teams. Make sure to check out that video when it comes out. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys are new, and belt the like button if this video helps you guys out at all. So York is the 5+ character that we are farming up. You can actually use her 5+ as well as her 5-star in this event. She's a 1.4 times booster. She's going to be very, very good to have on your treasure map teams, namely the Intrusion and the Final Boss team. So try and use her over there if you guys can. This particular treasure map goes up to 20 million points. It's going to be very easy to do with these teams because you have a lot of 1.85 boosters, but if you guys want to continue to grind up to that, then you can just sort of get some more limit break materials as well. The treasure bazaar has been updated as well, so there's going to be a level limit break set for limit break materials, which is going to be very good value if you're a player like myself and doesn't have a lot of those said materials. So make sure to check that out as well. So let's dive into the crew. And for this one, we're going to start it off with the Frankie fight. Now, I did already put out a video that doesn't use any of the new batch characters, so some of the mini bosses might look a little bit the same. They might look a little bit different to include some of the 11th anniversary rare recruits and stuff. But if you guys are struggling with some characters, like for example, let's say the Tashigi that came out for the last treasure map, head over to that video and there will be a different team comp for that. But looking at Frankie first, the mini bosses are very interesting because they all give 5 turns of cooldown to everyone on your crew, which is amazing. Plus, with the anniversary ship being boosted, you're getting 10 turns of cooldown to every character, 2 for your sockets, so you're automatically starting with 12 turns of cooldown on every single one of your fights, which is awesome. First, Frankie Monet is the recommended character. Everyone gets the good stuff. He's weak to driven, gives despair, and that's basically all he does. So we are using the 10th anniversary Luffy. This team hasn't really changed that much from the no new batch team, except I did just slide Usopp onto the team as the Dex unit over treasure map Frankie. It's just a higher booster. Treasure map Frankie wasn't doing anything for this team anyway, so I decided to put Usopp over here. Basically, we're using Zoro to wave clear turn 1, Zoro to wave clear turn 2, and because we have one of each type on the crew, we can use the Sengoku special on our Zoro. The Akainu support's giving a chain lock, and with the 4 times attack and orb boost, Zoro is going to hit very, very hard. Onto the Brook fight now. Brook is a int character, and the recommended characters are the new Usopp and Frankie. You get good stuff for everyone, and Brook's weak to free spirit characters. You get 3 turns of special bind on your right-hand column, 1 turn of special reverse on your left, a full board of block orbs, normal attacks only, and then 6 turns of threshold. So the team we're using looks a little bit like this. Some other really good characters to get around the shenanigans are characters that can just bypass special bind as a captain. Stuff like Ace and Yamato, Superclass Doflamingo. You can use Halloween Ace like I did in my previous video, but what we're actually doing here is we're using double Tashigi. Now, Tashigi is very interesting. She's obviously a treasure map legend, so she's getting boosted quite well, but she has a very interesting special that does damage that ignores defensive effects. She gives you an orb boost for 3 turns, and then if you're running 2 of them, you can increase that orb buff. But the real upside to Tashigi is if you use an orb boost at all on the quest, she has an auto proc. So the idea here is to use the super type Zoro on the team. So Zoro is going to be an orb boost up for turn 1 and he wave clears, and then you get the auto proc of Tashigi turn 2, which will wave clear, and then you get the auto proc of Tashigi on turn 3 to just give you a really, really big orb boost moving into that final stage, as well as some tap timing stuff. To remove the threshold, we have the S-Hawk rare recruit. He's a slasher, but he also gives color affinity, which is great. And then I just threw Mihawk on this team. Mihawk is completely replaceable with any other Psy cerebral slasher. You could throw something like Kobe on this particular team. He's going to work great as a high point booster, or even if you just go free to play and use the free to play Robin, she's also an attack down remover that can also give you the defense down conditional if you guys want to get a different buff over something like the S-Hawk that you guys are seeing Oh wait, no, you don't need attack down, you need threshold. Duh. But she's just another really good character that you guys can use. As for Shirohoshi, she gives you rainbow orbs from the start of the quest, so we keep them until the final stage, and that's basically that particular team there. On to the next fight against Nami and Usopp there, an int character. The recommended characters being Kuma, the new Chopper, and Sentomaru. Everyone gets the good stuff, and this was a bit annoying because there is blowaway on your middle row for 4 turns. It's 5 turns of attack down, normal attacks only, defense down immunity. Oh, it is defense down immunity. I completely got that wrong in my, what's it called? In my new batch team. I thought it was full immunity except defense down. Oh, whoops. And then there's bind and then there's fear. So utilizing Shanks as our captain allows you to just bypass the bind. And then we have Toki to apply to our middle characters, being the new Frankie and the new Chopper, being 1.35 boosters. Both of them are Psy, so they get buffed underneath Shanks, which is great. You get a 3.5 times attack and orbits on the final stage, and then you can use Chopper to bypass the attack down. Chopper having 3 Straw Hats gives you a chain boost because you already have an orb buff. You get the chain multiplicative buff, and then with the Kung Fu Luffy support, you can actually get matching orbs for that entire side that isn't Toki. So you're going to hit pretty hard with the 2 characters that are hitting the hardest, being the Frankie and the Chopper. We have Brook for wave clearing turn 1 and wave clearing turn 2. He's that last Straw Hat that we need there. Moving on to the Chopper and Robin mini-boss fight. Vegapunk, York, and Vivi Rebecca are the recommended characters here. At Battle 1, obviously you get all the good stuff. Cerebral characters are the weakness, and then there's 6 turns of attack down, threshold, 8 turns of threshold, and 6 turns of defense up. So for this particular team, it's very similar to the team that you guys saw in the No New Batch video. We're using Vista to wave clear turn 1 with the Mihawk support to set defense to 0 on the final stage. Then we have Hiyori. I added Hiyori in the team just for some matching orbs. You don't necessarily need it because you have a bunch of slasher characters and your captains are going to get 1 orbs anyway, but this way you just don't have to worry about that sort of orb rotation, and it just makes it a little bit faster. Plus Hiyori gives you the resistance down when you tap with her first, so that way your Dex characters are hitting pretty hard. We have the Odin support for color affinity. You can wave clear turn 2 with the Izo Kiku, and then to remove the attack down we're using Zoro and Kaku. Obviously Cat Viper as a captain is going to bypass the threshold, which works out very, very nicely. So essentially all we have to do here is just bypass the attack down and the defense up, which obviously that Mihawk support does very, very well at doing. Moving on to the final boss fights now. This is where it does start to get a little bit spicy. As you guys saw, I didn't include Brook, I didn't include Zoro. You could probably just throw them in on your teams, but remember, the mini-boss fights, they're really not doing all that much for you. They're just essentially just there as, like, what's it called? They're essentially just there just to, like, slow down the runs. The one that you probably could use Zoro on is this particular fight right here. You could probably throw him on as the defense up and the threshold remover. That could definitely work if you wanted to just use a different special over Cat Viper, but like I said, Cat Viper is just going to be that guy. Onto the Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji fight. They are a int character as well. They have all the good stuff. Recommended characters like Kizaru, Nami, and then the Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. On Battle 2, you get special reversed on your middle row as well as lock special charge. So they obviously want you to use Kizaru here. There's top row Despair, full immunity, and then there is damage reduction for 6 turns, which is a little bit annoying. The Despair is a bit of a kicker because there's also paralysis on the final stage. But at the end of the day, it's really not the end of the world. You really want to use Kizaru as a captain though. So this is where it makes it like a little bit funky, because you essentially want to get a bunch of cooldowns for Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. So then that way they can just auto-proc their special quite frequently. But unfortunately with the special reverse and all that fun stuff, it does make it a little bit challenging to do. So you do want to bring 2 Luffy, Zoro, and Sanjis. Like that is the goal, whilst also using a Kizaru as your own captain, and then bringing Luffy, Zoro, Sanji as a sub. So on the final stage, there's Special Bind, Burn, Full Immunity, Territory, and Paralysis. This is the team we've gone with. To remove the Despair... Actually, no, you don't need... Now I'm looking at it, you don't need 2 Luffy, Zoro, Sanjis. I totally forgot because Monet removes the Despair. Yeah. Like, you definitely can do it. Like, you could just replace Monet if you want to use her on the first fight. But like she just works perfectly here. As for turn 2, you're going to use Kizaru to give the cooldowns to your middle row. You have to use the Nami special to bypass the what's it called? The damage reduction on turn 2. Wait, just shoot. Yeah, Shuma's damage reduction. Yeah. And to use her to remove the damage reduction on turn 2, and then you can get her special back again thanks to utilizing the double Kizaru specials. To just give increased damage taken on this final stage as well. Kizaru as a captain bypasses the burn, he bypasses the special bind. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji will bypass the paralysis on turn 3. Monet with the Whitey base support gets around the Despair, and then literally York is just here to look pretty. Like she's a 1.4 times booster. If you have the Brook, this is a perfect place to put Brook. You can just throw him on right here, and that way you guys are going to get just a lot more points, and you can just slide him in there, and then you can put the York over on a different team, and that's going to work out pretty hunky-dory. But for now, this is what we're rocking. Should do quite nicely. You'll have a double territory live for shooters and slashers. Also, you'll have attack boost and orb boost, increased damage taken. Yeah, you pretty much have everything that you need for this particular fight. For the intrusion, this is the one that's a little bit annoying because they really want you to use the new Zoro and the new Brook. And there are a couple of ways around it, but if you don't have Brook, it is going to be a little bit challenging to do. But we'll talk about some of those options, and I do have that no new batch video as well. But Zoro, Brook, Nami, and Kizaru are the recommended characters. Obviously, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are not recommended because you can't have 2 Zoros on the team. Everyone gets the good stuff. On turn 2, you verse S-Shark and S-Bear. They give you an attack down if you blow a 3.5 times chain, 10 times damage if you're stunned, so your crewmates are stunned. What this means is when you take damage, whatever the damage number is, say it's 1 damage, it becomes 10 damage. If it's 1,000 damage, it becomes 10,000 damage. If it's a million damage, it becomes 10 million damage. It's a big increase, and it's on every single character as well. So it's a lot. Like the 10 times becomes it's a lot of damage. So full immunity, normal attacks only, threshold, defense up, territory. Enemy runs away for full HP recovery, and then on battle 3 there is the 3 enemies once again, S-Snake and S-Hawk this time, with York, who is weak to slashes. Full immunity, normal attacks only, you get block orbs on your right hand side, bomb orbs on your left, 10 turns of damage reduction, 3 turns of a rainbow slot or barrier, 6 turns of resilience, and then a target lock. This is the big one. The resilience, the rainbow slot barrier, and then the target lock is going to be a problem for a lot of teams, especially if you don't have Brook. However, again, there are some ways around it. So what we're doing here is we're using the Annual support for the resilience, and we're using the Shirahoshi support for the rainbow orbs. Shirahoshi on the final stage goes on any Luffy character. Basically will give your right column that goes through block slots 3 rainbow orbs. So you'll have enough to break the barrier that way, and you won't need to remove it. Otherwise, you can bring a character that removes the barrier. However, in terms of the recommended characters or the boosted characters that can do this, you have the free-to-play Sanji, which you can't use because you're using Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. You have Nami Karina, who you can't use because you're using a Nami. Realistically, there is only one other character that is boosted for this event that you can use to remove the barrier, and that is a treasure map legend that literally only came out not long ago, but was available on the Egghead banner, and that is Legend Stussy. Legend Stussy can actually remove barriers by 5 turns, which is very, very effective. So, if you guys don't have the Shirahoshi support, you can then use Stussy if you have Stussy in your box. If you do not have Stussy in your box and you are missing the Shirahoshi support, then you are stuck with using a character that can either remove barriers that's not boosted, or bring a character that can give you rainbow orbs. And as for the boosted characters, realistically there is only one character that does that, and that is the Onsen Luffy, who is another treasure map booster, but he came out for the end of the New Year's celebration of 2023, I want to say, so moving into 2024. So he's pretty old. A lot of people do have this guy with a couple of dupes. I know people are missing him too, so like don't quote me on that, but the thing with this guy is that he's a Luffy character, which means you don't have to replace Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, which is a bit of a problem because Luffy, Zoro, Sanji are going to be your attack and orb boosting for the final stage there. But look, like desperate times call for desperate measures, right? So that is a couple options for you guys if you guys are missing that Shirahoshi support. But if you have the Shirahoshi support and you're missing the Brook, like don't stress, you are going to be absolutely fine. You're going to want that Enel support too, though. So on turn 2, we are using a Zoro as a friend captain. You can use the Zoro special. He cuts your HP by 70%. This is going to remove the stun, which is really, really nice. Plus, he also removes the threshold, which is very good as well. Once you've done that, if you find a level limit break 3 Zoro as a friend captain, he has the ability to give back 6 turns of cooldown with his special. And then every time a crewmate uses a special that's a slasher class or a driven class, you can actually get 2 turns of cooldown up to 3 times per quest. So if you use the Kizaru special, for example, you're going to give 2 turns of cooldown to your Zoro captain, which is going to work out pretty hunky-dory. You need to use Nami to remove the defense up, which is going to be nice. So what you can do is here use the Nami special to remove the defense up. That'll give 2 turns of cooldown to Zoro, and then use the Kizaru special to give the 6 turns of cooldowns back to Kizaru and Nami. And then you can use the 2 turns of cooldown back for Zoro there. So that's sort of like the game plan there. You bypass the territory with Kizaru. You bypass the attack down below a certain chain with Kizaru as well, because you will start the chain fairly high with his tap timing bonus as well as his chain boundary effect. On the final stage, it is going to be a little bit reliant where the resilience is. If the resilience and the target lock is all on York the Greedy, then the resilience, like, it's going to work, but then you're going to be stuck with the other 2 characters that have 6 turns of resilience. And that's going to be a huge, huge problem. So Enel may or may not work there. I do want to make that very, very clear. But York on this team, realistically, isn't doing a whole lot. So you could probably replace York with something else to remove the resilience. If we have a look at some of the trusty characters that you guys can use here, that can remove the resilience, or that will do multiple turns of end of turn damage. If we go into remove effects, removing resilience, you have a 1.2 times booster in Otama, and that is literally it. Like, bruh, like, what are we? Oh, that's in support. Okay, I was like, come on, what are we doing here? But then I remember like Nami Karina can remove resilience, so like there's also that. So you have the new Alba. He's a 1.35 booster. That's going to work great. You can use obviously Brook as well. He's going to remove some resilience, not the new one, but the free-to-play one. So that's an option there for you. Otherwise, you can use multi-turns or multi-stage end-of-turn damage dealers. That's another option too. But again, it also just depends on where the resilience is. If it's only on York, the greedy, and then you sort of just like kill York with the target lock, and then you can use the end-of-turn damage to just like kill her. If the resilience is on everyone though, and then like, yeah, it might be in for like a rough time. But again, we'll do playthrough videos on this type of stuff. Again, you can replace the bottom 2 units there. I feel like they'll want you to remove the resilience because that's what Brook does. The new Legend Brook, not the new Legend Brook, the new Rare Recruit Brook. But like I said, you'll have options there. As for the final stage, you have the attack boost and orb boost with the Zoro and Sanji unit. You are going to have to remove a lot of damage reduction here though. So to remove the damage reduction, we have the Nami special once again, because you get the 6 turns of cooldown thanks to Kizaru, and then you can use the York special. So York's actually needed. The Monet character is the one that isn't really needed on this particular team. So again, you can replace the Monet with a resilience remover if you need it. Sure, it's going to be a really shit one. It's going to be like a 1.2 times booster. But for now, this is what we're doing. If you guys have the Zoro and the Brook though, you can kind of just do this. You don't want that. You want the York character. You guys can just do something like this, and you will be absolutely hunky-dory. Brook's going to remove the resilience. You have the double Zoro, so you don't actually even need York now that I'm thinking about it, because you have double Zoro. You're going to have the damage reduction removal with what's his name? With Zoro. But like, you definitely could bring York, and then you could just bring Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji as a captain, and then bring a friend captain Zoro, or vice versa. Bring your own Zoro with a friend captain, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. That might be the play for like the later stages, and then just sort of use the free-to-play York character here too. But that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, but like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. It is the 11th anniversary treasure map. It's going to be a little bit more challenging than what we're used to, and obviously people are going to be a lot more sweaty than we're used to, so just be mindful of that, and don't stress if you guys don't get any crazy ranks. But like I said, if you enjoyed the video, but like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the content. We obviously will be doing playthroughs for these particular teams. And with that said, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!